It's Friday, so you know what that means. Oops. Anyway, it's time for Project Black Flag Fridays. Cobalt Press was nice enough to send me this sweet black flag. They actually sent me two, which is pretty awesome. And my only complaint is they don't actually have a spot for a flagpole. So I'm going to have to sew it to be able to actually put a pole in it so that I can actually wave it around. But that being said, as happens every Friday, Cobalt Press has released a new update for Project Black Flag. So let's see what this one is all about. It's called From the Crow's Nest, and it looks like it's going to give us more information about what we can expect with the future playtest packet. So we'll go ahead and jump over to their website. There'll be a link to this in the video description as well as a pinned comment if you'd like to see yourself. So it's the first Friday of March. Today we're up in the Crow's Nest looking around to survey of where we've been and where we're going with Project Black Flag. Remember, this is a Crow's Nest, right? There's a lot of pirate talk here. It makes sense. Right now, we're compiling feedback from Playtest Packet number 1 and preparing Playtest Packet number 2. Let's talk about both of these packets and what's coming up after. Looking back, Playtest Packet 1. Commenting for Playtest Packet 1 is closed and you delivered. Huge thanks to everyone who downloaded and gave feedback to Cobalt Press on Packet 1. We're still looking through all your thoughts, ideas, and suggestions. Celeste Conowich, our lead designer, said it best. Thank you so much to everyone who shared your thoughts on the first Playtest Packet. We received so much positive feedback about design direction, and you all gave us a great idea of what you want to see for this game. We are claws deep in the next Playtest Packet, and we can't wait to hand you a heaping serving of fresh content. Here are the big points we collected from Playtest Packet number 1. Develop existing talents to build out full talent catalog. Streamline the organization of heritage options. Revisit lineage and heritage options to improve balance. Eliminate the forced choice of either ability score increase or gaining a new talent for class milestones. So I wonder if that means we're going to see both, potentially. Clarify mechanical language. We're listening and putting all of these notes in order. Now, looking ahead to Playtest Packet 2. What can you expect in the mid-March release? Changes to Playtest Packet number 1 that will affect Playtest Packet 2. Now, this is one of the benefits, I will say, of Cobalt Press being a smaller company and a little more nimble with things. They are allowed or able to shift a little faster probably than WotC can, who you can see is on like a 2 to 3 month delay cycle before we see what happens from feedback that they receive. Now, some of that may be just due to the order of magnitude of the size of said company, but either way, good to see that what we've already requested and are, asking to change and what was mentioned, how that will be implemented in packet number 2. Changes to spellcasting rules for robust and thematic concepts. Characters find their magic source from one of 4 different circles of magic: arcane, divine, primordial, and word, or weird. I'm guessing that's weird, probably. So this will be essentially, I guess, in a similar way, I assume, to what we see in 1D&D, Arcane, Divine, Primordial, and Weird, where we kind of, I'm curious to see the difference, and I think you can probably pick out where some of them are going to fall, right? For example, Divine will likely cover things like the Cleric and the Paladin. Weird might cover things like the Sorcerer and probably definitely the Warlock. But who knows if there's original stuff. So then we have preview of the new Arcane Circle ritual list, whatever that is, such as ritual spells, who knows. An updated list of spells you know and love from the SRD. Okay, so that could be just balance passes or general changes to things to make them a little smoother or better utilized. Maybe find traps. I can't remember find traps in the SRD, but this is your opportunity, folks, to take find traps, an utterly garbage spell, and make it good. I really don't focus your efforts on find traps, but you get my point. The first 8 levels of the base fighter class, including features of 2 fighter subclasses. The first 8 levels of the wizard base class, including features of 2 wizard subclasses. A new fail-forward luck mechanic to replace inspiration, transform failure into a spendable resource to influence future rolls, and a handful of new talents. Reminder, talents are the feat replacement for Project Black Flag, so that's more options there. And on the horizon, we're planning a Kickstarter campaign for Project Black Flag in May. When this hits, we'll release a quick start rules compilation based on your feedback. As always, rules are subject to change. And then again, here's a little bit about want to access our first playtest. So this is pretty promising to see what's coming in Playtest Packet 2. It says changes to Playtest Packet 1 that will affect it. Now, will that include new lineage and heritage options? So in one playtest packet, we will have both the ability to choose lineage, heritage, and a class. I also like that they're not necessarily giving us the entire level 1 to 20 class, which some of you may say, well, that seems like an odd idea. Why not give us the whole class? I will remind you that most of base 5e doesn't really seem balanced past level 10 because most campaigns typically don't make it that far. Now, I know I can already hear you in the comments, my campaign goes to level 20 and I've done this 8 times. Yes, and I'm very happy for you. You are one of the lucky few. But a lot of campaigns, especially if people are running pre-written stuff, usually caps out around that 8 to 10 time frame. So focusing on getting that first to at least give us something to playtest, that's important. I think the concept, and I mean, we saw the same pitfalls from Wizards of the Coast where they gave us kind of races, which are now been renamed to species. They gave us that first with no class options. So it's like, okay, well, how do we playtest this? We still have to mix and match. So having some concepts of this, I also like that we're getting 2 subclasses to choose from, so you're not locked into one. You are given a little bit of variability there, which is nice. Again, I'm curious to see what's going on with the spell lists here and what this Arcane Circle ritual list is. I assume that because it's 4 circles of magic, Arcane is one of them. I guess that means these are the spells that are covered if that's their rituals, or rituals in this different than rituals in 5e. Is this some sort of bigger mega magic? I don't know. And I'm curious about this new fail forward luck mechanic. Now, we've seen this. This is not a new inherent concept to RPGs. There are a lot of RPGs out there that have the sort of yes and mechanic where you fail, something bad happens, but the story doesn't stop. It keeps moving forward. And that is definitely we see that in a lot of different RPG systems nowadays. And I think it is good because it doesn't, like, if the party needs to open the door or unlock the drawer or whatever it is, and they fail the saving throw or the check in Dungeons and Dragons, then they're kind of stuck. Unless you get into this situation where you can try again, and then it comes to that breakdown of, do I just keep trying? Am I limited in my number of choices? Is it a time limit thing? What prevents me from taking as much time as I need to try to open this drawer that has a lock on it? And if I have the unlimited time, should you even bother making me roll for it? Because if I have unlimited time to do it, I can just take as long as it's necessary. Now, if there are guards coming down the hallway and I need to get into this drawer for something, then that has a time limit, so there's a reason to make a check. But this kind of gives a fail forward mechanic. So let's use that scenario. I'm trying to lock pick a door open into, like, there's a desk with a drawer with a big lock on it, and I'm trying to lock pick my way into this drawer. And we need to do it because there's guards coming down the hallway to check this room, and we need to do it quick. Now, normally, what would happen is if I fail, I can't open the lock, and then maybe we have to hide or try to escape or something. A fail forward mechanic could be like, well, I pick the lock and my lock picks break, so I failed because my lock picks broke in there. But the drawer's still open, so I broke my lock picks off, but I got into the drawer. So I still failed in some way, but I'm failing forward. Or I'm able to get the drawer open, but it's so loud that it alerts the guards and they come running. So I still was able to do something, but the failure is incorporated in such a way that it allows the story to move forward. It's basically like a success, but with a downside kind of a thing. And I can't remember. I know there are a ton of RPGs that have like a special term for this. But all I can think of right now is the 1986 Ghostbusters RPG with the concept of the ghost die, because I've been playing that every Saturday. So that's like a concept where if ghost comes up on a ghost die, something bad happens, or something bad will happen as whatever was going to change things. So you might succeed at what you're trying to do if your roll was high enough. But that kind of ghost die mechanic, that is also an interesting one because you could technically succeed and have something bad happen. This is, again, if something bad happens, the story still continues to move. So I'm curious because, like I said, that kind of mechanic definitely works well in things like Powered by the Apocalypse style games. So I'm curious how you would incorporate that into D&D. They attempted something like this in one D&D with the concept of the inspiration, where if you roll a natural 1 on a check, a D20 test, you roll a natural 1, you get inspiration or you give it to somebody else. That was a kind of fail forward mechanic. You still failed, but somebody it's actually not a fail forward. It's just like a benefit for failure, I guess, because You still fail whatever you're trying to do, but it's not as bad because it's lessened a little bit by the ability to get inspiration. This is you fail whatever you're doing, but things can still continue on. So it says transform failure into a spendable resource to influence future rolls. Could this be charges, rerolls, luck points? I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm curious to see. And then again, new talents again are essentially new feats, so I'm always curious to see what that looks like. So I like to know this. We kind of see a little bit about what the major feedback that would need to be taken into account, and we know that's going to be incorporated in the next playtest packet, and I assume we'll see this going forward. And again, I'm very, the only thing I'll say is potentially worrisome, and I think you can probably all agree with where I'm going with this, is it's March. We're going to be getting our second playtest packet in a couple weeks here, and they're looking to launch a Kickstarter in May. That only relieves us this coming playtest packet, the playtest packet in April, and possibly a playtest packet in May if this launches at the end of May, this Kickstarter campaign. And that doesn't feel like a lot of time. And I know some people, now, again, some people, it doesn't matter. They like to know that there's a finished product before they go in, although I have seen in a bunch of different times where people launch a Kickstarter and they write it after the fact. So it is what it is. But like this is a whole game system that's in development as opposed to like a rule set or a campaign or adventure module in something that's already established. So I could see some people possibly being worried about backing something on Kickstarter that is still completely in development because again, I have a lot of faith in Kobold Press that it won't, like, I'm not worried about it myself, but I could see if you're a skeptic or someone who's on the fence about this, do I really want to put my money into something that I flat out know is in flux because it's in the process of being developed? And, you might back it based on what you see in Playtest Packet 1 and 2, but it turns out the feedback in Playtest Packet 2 changes most of what you liked about it, and you already backed it. So again, I'm not trying to scare anybody away. I'm just trying to see and gauge your thoughts and also talk about what I could see as a potential thing that people have problems with. So let me ask you right now, and please feel free to leave comments down below. I do believe Kobold Press checks out these videos. So would you feel comfortable? So let's fast forward to let's say it's like the last Tuesday of May, right? You've already gotten your playtest packet 2. You've gotten playtest packet 3 in April, and you've already gotten playtest packet 4 in May. You've now seen 4 iterations, including new stuff, as well as also seeing what improvements and adjustments have been made from previous playtest packets in this new one. Would 4 playtest packets, depending, and I know this is very loaded question because you don't know what they're going to look like and you don't know how well they're going to be developed or what your thoughts are, but do you think 4 playtest packet cycles, assuming that they're as beefy as this next one and possibly more going forward, is that enough time for you to feel comfortable to back something on Kickstarter, or would you want to wait a little more? I mean, I'm likely going to back it anyway because I'm talking about all of these products so that I'm have content to talk about. But, if it was delayed till August, let's say, would you feel more comfortable then because you'd have a few more playtest packets under your belt to possibly see where things are going? Do you think they should wait until it's ready to launch? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you all next time.